Today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful and maybe one of the most challenging themes in the life of Jesus. How, time and time again, when faced with a choice between judgment and grace, he always shows a radical kind of compassion that just completely shattered the rules of his day.
Welcome to Quick Biblical Thoughts.
So let's start with a question for you. Have you ever felt like one moment, one failure, one really bad choice has become the label that everyone sees when they look at you? You know, it's this heavy, heavy weight to carry around, feeling like you're stuck with a reputation you just can't escape. Well, today we're going to see how Jesus meets people right in that exact place. To really get this, we have to set the stage. The society Jesus stepped into was built on these clear, very rigid lines. You had the good people and the bad people, the righteous and the sinners. And if you got labeled a sinner, that was it. You were shunned, condemned, and pushed right to the very edges of society. It was a world totally defined by this huge barrier of judgment.
This right here, this really gets to the heart of it all. On one side, you've got the world system, right? It runs on condemnation, judgment, and making sure your social reputation is protected at all costs. But then Jesus shows up and introduces a completely different kingdom, one built not on judgment, but on forgiveness, on compassion, and on the truly radical idea that anyone could have their dignity restored. Let's see how this actually played out.
So our first story happens at a dinner party. It's hosted by a very important religious leader, a Pharisee named Simon. This is a respectable, buttoned-up, controlled environment. But the unexpected is about to walk right through the door and challenge everything that Simon stands for.
A woman, someone with a really bad reputation in town, just walks right in, and you can feel the air in the room instantly change. She doesn't say a single word. She just falls apart at Jesus' feet, literally washing them with her tears. And then she does this incredibly extravagant thing. She anoints his feet with super expensive perfume. But while she's showing this profound humility, the host, Simon, is just filled with silent disgust. And right there, inside Simon's head, we see the very heart of judgment. See, he isn't thinking about her pain. He's not thinking about her repentance. He's only thinking about her label, her reputation. In his mind, her past completely disqualifies her from being anywhere near someone holy. He's measuring her entire worth by her worst mistakes.
But Jesus, knowing exactly what Simon is thinking, just masterfully reframes the whole situation. He tells this simple little story about two people who owe money and are both forgiven their debt. And his point is so powerful. The person who understands the true size of the debt that was canceled will feel the greatest love and gratitude. He then looks at this woman and he doesn't see a sinner. He sees someone who loves deeply precisely because she gets how much she has been forgiven.
And listen, this is so important. With these words, Jesus doesn't just comfort her privately, he publicly restores her. In front of everybody in that room, he completely shatters the social hierarchy that Simon lives by and gives this woman back her dignity. He declares her forgiven, saved, and free to go in peace. It's just incredible. Now, let's move to our second story and see how this theme builds. We go from a private dinner party to a really tense public confrontation. And here, the religious leaders aren't just thinking judgmental thoughts. They are actively trying to use judgment as a weapon against Jesus himself.
So a woman is caught in adultery, and she's publicly shamed, thrown down right at Jesus' feet. Her accusers demand a verdict. But we have to be absolutely clear here. They couldn't care less about justice for this woman. This was a trap, plain and simple. See, if Jesus said, stone her, he would betray his own message of grace. But if he said, let her go, they could accuse him of violating the sacred law of Moses. They thought they had him cornered.
As all this tension is building, Jesus does something nobody expected. He just kneels down and starts writing on the ground. Then he stands up and delivers one of the most famous lines in all of human history. He doesn't dismiss the law, no. Instead, he turns the blinding spotlight of judgment away from the woman and shines it directly onto the hearts of her accusers.
And the effect is immediate. It's profound. The angry mob that was demanding condemnation is completely silenced by their own conviction. You can just imagine the sound of stones dropping from their hands. And one by one, starting with the oldest, they all walk away, until it's just Jesus and the woman. The accusers were totally disarmed by one single sentence. And in this quiet moment that's left, we see grace and truth in perfect harmony. Jesus offers her complete forgiveness. Neither do I condemn you. But he doesn't just stop there. He empowers her toward a new life. Go and sin no more. He doesn't just pardon her past, he gives her a clear path forward for her future.
You see, these aren't just two random stories. When we put them side by side, we start to see this powerful, consistent picture of the heart of God. A heart that always moves toward broken people, not away from them.
I mean, just look at this comparison. It's so clear. In one story, the setting's private. In the other, it's totally public. One woman is worshipful and repentant. The other is accused and ashamed. But notice this. In both cases, Jesus breaks down the specific barrier right in front of him. Whether it's the quiet judgment of religiosity or the loud condemnation of legalism, to bring about the exact same result: peace and freedom.
So, okay, why does this ancient story matter for us, right here, right now? Well, because these barriers of judgment, they still exist, don't they? We still draw lines between the good people and the bad people. And these stories, they challenge us to ask some really hard questions about our own hearts.
When you hear about someone's failure, a friend, a celebrity, maybe even someone in your own church, what is your first gut-level reaction? Is it to condemn? Is it to judge? Or is it to feel compassion? Because Jesus' example calls us always to lean toward compassion.
Here's another one. What are we more concerned with? Maintaining a clean image for ourselves and for others, or celebrating a broken, humble heart that is trying to turn back to God? Jesus consistently showed that a repentant heart is always more valuable than a perfect reputation.
And finally, maybe this is the big one. Are our actions and our words actually helping to put broken people back together, or are they just another voice of condemnation that pushes them further into the dark? The grace that Jesus offers isn't some cheap pardon, it's a powerful force for restoration.
This all leads to a final, really powerful thought. Following Jesus doesn't mean we throw away standards. Not at all. It means we adopt an even higher one.
And this, right here, is the core takeaway for us today. Jesus never said sin didn't matter, not once. Remember, he told the woman to go and sin no more. But what he showed the world is that the ultimate expression of holiness isn't judgment. It's a radical, barrier-breaking love that pursues and restores the lost. He didn't lower the standard of holiness. He raised the standard of love above everything else.
And so, that question comes right back to us, doesn't it? In our own lives, in our daily interactions, in the quiet thoughts of our hearts. Judgment or compassion? Which one will you choose?